What's up, everybody? GR Zerza here, bringing you a new deck tech for the brand new set that just had its pre-release yesterday. I actually got to do one event and then this really cool thing that Jeremy did with me and a friend of ours, and we got to do a whole draft kit, and that was really cool. And I had an awesome time and got to see a lot of the new cards. So, thanks to Jeremy for inviting me to that. That being said, let's move into the deck. I did happen to play red and white in my pool, and I drafted a Nyarlathotep, and seeing how powerful that card was made me realize that this might be an actual like standard format constructed deck. So let's go ahead and go through the list, and we can kind of talk a little bit about what's going on. So we're gonna play Isis as the ruler. Um, Basically doing this so that we can use our moon editions, and this is going to be a mid-range deck, so you might end up flipping and killing that way as just another win condition. So pretty good ruler. She's just not had enough support, in my opinion, to be competitive, but she got 2 or 3 really good cards, so we're going to go over that now. First off, we have Desert Miner. This is one of the new uncommon 1-drops that turns your fire stones into dual stones, and they can produce light. So this isn't like incredibly essential, as we're gonna have other ways to produce white as well. I'm a little heavier into white than I thought I would be, but I just kind of wanted to do this as a starting point and see how it goes, because 4/4s are pretty easy to kill in this format. So we're not going to rely too heavily on her. The cool thing about her is you can sacrifice her to put a moon edition into play, and that is also going to be able to get us white mana. So um, Nyarlathotep, for those of you who don't know, very powerful. She is a 2-drop, but she's really not. You're going to be awakening her, and when you do that, you get X Fire Moon editions, and those are what you can use to tap for Will with Isis, and also she can sacrifice them to prevent all the damage dealt to her, and she can also sacrifice them to deal 8 damage to a J Resonator, so she can kill J rulers. That's very important. Also, she gets precision and swiftness as long as you just have a Moon Edition in play. So, just playing her for 2 could end up just winning you the game, because 2 will for 10,000 damage is really good. Isis, basically you're going to play this and go search for Nyarl, and that's going to be a way to get a little more consistency, and you're essentially drawing a card when you play this. However, because we're playing Isis as the ruler, we can tap our moon editions and they produce will, white or red. So that's going to be very important. Magician of Molding, we're going to try. It is a good stat line for 2, but it also, we are playing a lot of runes. And this is a very, like I said, it's like a beefy mid-range deck with a lot of removal and damage. So I wanted to try this out and see how that goes. It might end up just not being that great, and you don't feel yourself needing this. And if that's the case, you can swap it out for something else. I'm going to play 2 of the older Nyarls because I want some extra card draw. And this does also have the ability to destroy a Resonator. Instead of dealing damage to it, being able to destroy it. That way, if decks are playing cards that protect from damage, or if you're playing against a Nyarl on like a mirror match, you'll be able to destroy theirs without them just sacking a moon edition to prevent damage to it. So this is another way to remove it. Here's the white in the deck, Messenger of the Sun, because we're playing a lot of runes and I want to draw cards, and being able to destroy one of their moon editions, or if we were playing against Altar, that's going to be relevant. 2 ear, I'd probably play more, but I just don't want to go too heavy into the white. 2 protection of the angels, again, you could swap this out and play more red cards if you want, but I just wanted to see. So that's going to be right here, the messenger, the ear, and the protection, and then like the 1 white on the Nyarl, and that's going to be all the white in the deck. So it's not it's not crazy heavy, and being that this is a little bit slower of a deck with a lot of burst damage, I think you can survive the early turns. So moving on, this giant, really cool. Most of the time you're going to be paying 3 to discard him at instant speed and put 2 moons into play. That's really good, but then you get to also deal 400 damage multiplied by the number of moons you control to a J or Resonator. So again, another way to kill J rulers. I think that's going to be pretty important in the upcoming meta. So this could end up being pay 3 instant speed, deal 12, deal 16. I mean, it could be a lot of damage. So and then end game, you can slam this down, and it's probably pretty damn hard to remove, and it has swiftness and attacks for 18. So I mean, who doesn't love that? We're gonna play 2 runes beneath the sands as an additional way to reach. This is a fringe card for me, but I wanted to try it out as another means to win the game. And next up, here's one of the new auras or runes that I think is really good, especially in this deck, Godly Aura. So basically, turn 1, you can cast this just to get a moon into play if you don't have like a Desert Miner or anything better to do. You can play this and just get a moon, just get the ball rolling. And that I think that's going to be important. But also, if you control Nyarlathotep, you can do the moon and draw a card, and you can deal 400. So you're doing another rune effect that's dealing damage based on the number of moons you have. So there's a lot of synergies there. With the giant, with the Godly Aura and Messenger of the Sun to be drawing. Not to mention, like, Nyarl wants a lot of moons in play because she can just win the game. Not to mention, she can banish 9 moons to give herself plus 4,000 plus 4,000 and pierce. So she can just win, be like a late game one shot OTK. I don't think you'll be relying on that too much, but it is there. So yeah, a lot of synergies going on here. Scalding Breath, 2 will to, deal 700 to something. But if you have Magician, yeah, and don't forget, guys, with Godly Aura and Scalding Breath, if you have Magician in play, you're dealing another 200. So this would be deal 9. So that kills a lot of things in the format. And this would be, if you had 2 moons, you'd deal 800 plus another 2 would be 1,000. Again, killing mostly everything. And then Burial Rites. A lot of decks are doing things with the graveyards, with the Layla ramp, things like that. But this is also a way to get your Anubis. And then Anubis is just kind of like the main deck tech. I mean, we only need really 3 cards here to have an edge against altar decks and, graveyard decks. So I feel like it's not too much to put that in there. And again, we're going to be ramping with all the moons we have. And, if you get Isis into play, now all of a sudden all those moons tap for will. And, so like turn 4, you could have played a Godly Aura. You could have, let's see here. You could have played a Godly Aura, and then you could have ditched like one of these and had 3 in play. So you're already at 3 moons. And that, that can really ramp you up pretty high. So yeah, turn 4, turn 5, you could be just casting this, say, if you had it in your hand. So anyway, yeah, not to mention if you played any runes from your rune deck, which we'll get to in a second here. I'm only going to play 1 Stone of Dueling and 9 magic stones, basic stones, because I really want the Desert Miner to to be able to hit by turn 2 at the latest. Because if we want to play Messenger of the Sun, we need that white will. So that's why I'm doing that. So the cool thing is with Godly Aura, it is a chant rune, so we're able to play one in the rune deck here, and that way you can always turn 1, get a moon into play and draw a card, and then just lots of damage. Sandstorm, with the Magician in play, that's going to deal 400 to their board. Explosion is a really neat card. I got to play it a lot in the draft or in the sealed event that I did yesterday. It's been really solid. Again, would deal 900 with Magician in play. Sand Awakening, I just feel like it's a good card. And then Godly, I also wanted to be able to reveal runes, to bring the rune count up for Anubis, even if they don't have anything in play. And Sand Awakening can do that, and so can Godly Aura. And then Poison Stinger. There are a few other runes that you could like consider. You also could play like Whispers of an Angel, have like a white rune in there, but I kind of wanted to just try out all the red runes just to see the synergy with Anubis. I mean, it's not hugely important, and we do have like actual ramp in the deck. So yeah, I just thought this was kind of neat, and Nyarlathotep is really powerful. A little bit weak to like a Lorite. So if you're playing against like Gil, got to be careful of that. But the thing is, there's so many like triggers, and I mean like trigger there, trigger here, trigger there, triggers on Messenger, trigger on ear. I mean, there's a lot there's a lot of triggers, so they can't Lorite everything, but you do need to be aware of that if you are playing against like a Gil player. But I feel like yeah, there's just a lot of burst in this deck and a lot of reach, and some early game removal. If they attack you, you can pay one. And like let's say you're playing against Kirik and they attack you and they go to pump, you can respond with Explosion. And if they respond with the second pump, it then becomes a 7/7, and then your 7 damage resolves before the first pump. So there's no way they can get around that if they don't have like a play dead or something. But even then, you're paying 1 red to effectively stop them from hitting you from 9, and that those crucial turns, turn 1 and 2, that really can buy you some time. But in most cases, I feel like you are actually just going to kill the Piale. So yeah, that's kind of neat. Not to mention, you can do a Poison Stinger into Explosion and deal 14 to something, which is a pretty good combo for just 2 red. So all right, that'll about wrap it up. Yeah, sleeve this up, test it out, and see what you think. Play a little bit patient. Don't just run your gnarls out, nilly-willy. I think you have to have a little bit of patience and develop your hand a bit. I'd probably say you want to be playing Messenger turn 2 over Nyarl if you have the choice. But most of the time, you're probably going to be playing like Magician, or if you have this Nyarl in your hand, stuff like that, or just holding up Will so you can cast Explosion if they're being more aggressive. Or also Godly Aura is quick cast, so you don't have to commit to it in the early turns until you see what they've done and you have all the information for the turn, and then they go to their end step. Then you can say, all right, I'm going to draw a card and get a Moon Edition into play and start the engine. So all right, guys, thanks for watching, and have a good one.